Yeah! Hey, good afternoon, good evening, hello everyone, wherever you are, around the wonders of the internet. Welcome to the Community Chorus Show. I'm your host, Executive Director of the Chorus of Westerly, without a long title, Ryan Saunders, and I'm delighted to have you here with us on the internet, wherever you're watching it. This is a new once-a-week sort of talk show that we're doing, featuring Chorus of Westerly personnel and personalities past and present, to talk a little bit about all the wonders of which is the Chorus of Westerly, share some stories with you, have a lot of fun together, and just give it a chance for you to know some of our members and the people who've been a big part of our organization for many, many years. It's sort of a continuation of some of the things you've seen on our Wednesday night series and also in our documentary. We're really proud to bring this to you. We want to thank our friends at the Rhode Island State Council on the Arts, because quite frankly, this is a production that we can do now in this world, and we can't do much else, so this is what you get. So Riska, thank you for sponsoring it. But I'd like to welcome into the program right now the guy who does have a long title, the Marion and Bill Palm Music Director of the Chorus of Westerly. That is my good friend, Mr. Andrew Peter Howell. Bring him in here, Ben. Let's see him there. There he is.
Hey. Hi, Ryan. Good to see you.
Andrew, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
Are you excited for the big show?
I'm very excited. Just going to let you do your thing and, answer questions when needed. Try to have some fun.
I thought we were all wearing ties, but I guess we're not all wearing ties. I think no tie?
I'm wearing a tie. It's underneath this.
Okay, that's good enough. That's good enough. As long as we're all wearing pants, which I think we established in the pre-show. No, okay, that's well, this is a family show, folks, so we'll keep it from the head up right here and this and that. Also, we're dropping this later, but it could be live, so you never know what's happening in the backgrounds here, so please forgive us. Hey, we got a great show for you tonight. We got some special guests. We're going to have some fun with them throughout the entire time, and we'll bring them in right now. Let's bring in our first guest, live from Mountain Avenue, Teacher of the Year on Mountain Avenue. It is the one and the only Aimée Elizabeth Blanchette. Bring her into the screen here, Ben. Whoa! There she is.
Aimée.
I am not Teacher of the Year.
On Mountain Avenue, you are, right?
I'm the Mountain Avenue Teacher of the Year. That is
Mountain
true.
Avenue History Teacher of the Year. I mean,
yeah,
if there's another history teacher on Mountain Avenue that's not you, then I'm sorry. How have you been?
I've been great. I've just been living my life and reading about history as I do.
Yes.
I like to learn more about history so that I can recognize it when you're making things up.
Well, true. Very true. That's a very key component of the show here too, to make sure that I walk the line. And now you are a teacher locally, and how are things going? Are you teaching in your classroom? Are you teaching virtually? How is that going with you?
Yeah, we're teaching, I think it's called concurrent teaching. So students had the option to choose 100% distance learning, or they could choose to be in person. And right now we're 100% in person for all the kids that chose in person.
Wow. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And how are you doing with all of this? Are you finding it manageable, difficult?
Yeah, it's manageable. I mean, I think it really helped that I really ratcheted my expectations all the way down when I started this school year. I think it's just, we're all doing this for the first time. And my personal thing that I keep saying over and over again is we're all just doing our best. We're all doing the best we can, and just try to remember that everyone around you is just doing the best they can.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think that's how Andrew and I feel with the chorus too, is that we're doing the best we can. Although I don't know if they should judge us based on what might come out of our show, but that is sort of the best that we can. Quickly, before we bring in our next guest, now you have been in the chorus since birth, basically, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, since that was a long time ago. So Aimée is one of our is part of a multi-generational family. And if you've had anything ever to do with the Chorus of Westerly, you have interacted with Aimée in some capacity, especially not just she for years and years drove our camp program and was just the brains, she and Deb and Pam on the whole administrative side of things. And when Aimée had stepped away a few years ago and all of what she did became apparent, for all of you who went to camp, without this wonderful woman right here, you would never have that experience. And also a celebration of 12th night.
Right, that too.
Let's not forget about that, because Aimée you were the stage, what?
I was the stage manager. It just says stage manager. It's easier.
I like that, stage manager. And now you've been doing some plays with Flock Theater, right?
Yes, I've been doing some acting with Flock since 2016. That's been a lot of fun. Just really enjoying that. The first year I did it, I was like, oh, acting is so much fun. Why didn't anyone tell me this? And I was like, oh, right, because they knew I would want to do it.
You were needed behind the scenes.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Well, look, let's add some spice into the party. It gives me great pleasure to bring in Mike Russell Freitas. Mr. Freitas, welcome to the big show. Whoa, wearing the powder blues.
Yeah, I thought we were wearing ties, Andrew.
I am. It's under here.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
Great to be here. Aimée, nice to see you. Ryan, Andrew.
Mr. Freitas, welcome. It's great to see you. How have you been, my friend?
Very well.
Yeah.
I found myself today wandering by lone sea breakers and sitting by desolate streams.
Wow. That is. I mean, that's got to be what Henry Thoreau wrote, Aimée, right after the Battle of the Bulge, and then put it into the Dream of Gerontius.
Yeah, he had to scribble it on a canteen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Aimée, I could correct him this time. It was Arthur Shaughnessy. Yeah.
Arthur. Now today is a very special day for you that you're joining us for this live taping, Michael. What's going on today with your family?
It is my 13th wedding anniversary.
Wow! Yeah. Happy anniversary!
Yeah, I married St. Lucy, who was another chorus kid back in the day. That's
right. The amazing Lucy Whitford Freitas and two wonderful daughters that you have somewhere with you in that undisclosed. Well, happy anniversary to all of you there. That is just a wonderful thing to have. Now, what are you doing to celebrate this anniversary?
We took the kids on a 5.5 mile walk today, which they weren't completely thrilled with until it was over. But it was the sun was shining. We saw some new things, and we had a lovely dinner at the house today, and it's been a good day.
Just living it up. I'm so glad you put on your formal gear again. You know, I had the great privilege to be the best man at Michael Lucy's weddings and weddings. But I was going to say that was the tuxedos that we actually wore.
Yeah, you wish.
At that wedding. Mine still fits. It was an extra small. So I have
maybe at the next wedding, since there will be weddings. Apparently,
apparently, that's what you do on the 14th anniversary or something like that. I don't know. Well, it's great to see you. Welcome to the big show. And now you've been singing the chorus since I began, right? Way back in the 1980s.
The summer of '86.
The summer of '86. The magical summer of '86.
A little bit.
All right. I'm gonna check out we're doing great with all of this. You're doing great. Well, now we have one more to add to this this pie of chorus love and information to bring in here. And if Mike was the spice, here comes the cheese.
Man,
I don't know what that means. Let's go live to the White Mountains, a notch above, to Littleton, New Hampshire, and bring in Mr. Uncle Bongo, Andrew Lidestri. Bring him into the picture here, man.
Whoa! Hey, everybody, it's me, the cheese.
Welcome, Uncle Bongo.
Hi.
It's great. It's great to see you here. Look at this. Now this really does feel like the Brady Bunch. If we had a sixth, we'd be all over the place here.
Yeah.
The Alice
great
in the
to see you. Thank you for celebrating Mike's anniversaries with us.
Happy anniversary.
So wonderful to see you. How are things going with you up in New Hampshire and with the Upstage Players, where you're the managing director?
They are great. Well, we had our first snow this week. I don't know how great I feel that was. Yeah, I think it's a bit early, and I'm super not excited about it. But other than that, I'm getting ready to teach a theater class for the North Country Health Consortium over the next 6 weeks. And, we're shut down the same way everybody else is shut down for the most part. And the exciting thing for us is we're going to spend these next months that we can't do the things that we want to be doing looking for a new home, and we're either going to build a venue or renovate a venue. So it's a huge next step, and we've been planning for it for years, and we're pulling the trigger.
Great.
So,
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Now you somehow just staged a musical up there though, right? In the middle
Yeah, it was kind of nuts. We took on our own outdoor production for the summer. We had sort of hit this space of trying to figure out what we were doing, and we were looking at the numbers as they were coming in and what other theaters were doing in the state here and trying to make decisions going forward. And when we looked at it, we thought, we might not be inside and performing again till like the fall of 2021. And if that's really where this goes, here we are in the middle of the summer and people are trying to figure out things to do here. And up where we are, and I don't know what it's been like down in Rhode Island, but up where we are definitely through the summer, there was a lot of tourism that came through. And I think people felt like instead of going to the city or instead of going to Disney World, we can go off to nature where we'll be more socially distanced. Like it just felt busier here than I think it normally is in the summer. And so we wanted to find a way to sort of bring our community together and not just jump into there's a lot of online plays that were happening in the state, but we found a way. We did Green Day's American Idiot. It was their 10-year anniversary of that show. And so we did that in the park here and had to build the whole arena and everything and make that work out. So it was a great time, and a whole bunch of people in the town were able to come, and you could just tell that people were itching to have a reason to get out. But to do that and work with our health officials and make sure it was socially distant and draw, painting big giant circles on the ground that people could sit in and feel safe. And it was good to feel like we could show that you can do an event in the right situation with the right precautions, and everyone stay healthy and happy.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. We better get to work, Andrew. Oh, Andrew's not here. We need to be like the one. I have no idea where I think we're on the same spot on the screen, but Andrew Howell is to my left or right? I don't know. I can't tell there. And Andrew Lidestri
in the middle top for me.
Yeah, okay, that's good. We're all on the same spots. That's wonderful.
Yes.
Well, and Andrew Lidestri, you joined the chorus at the same time that Michael and I did, of course.
Yeah, all that same summer of '86. Actually, I think it was probably your mom that called his mom and my mom and said, "Hey, you guys want to do this?" So that's on you. Thanks, Rye.
Well, transparency's sake for everyone out there who has never met any of the five of us, which if you're watching this, you definitely have. There's no reason why else would you? Like,
otherwise, hi,
Mom, hi Pam, hi Stevie. Let's just get it. Hey Alice, Emery.
Hey Dad.
Yeah, everybody. We kind of know the audience that might tune in for episode number 1. But and hi to my sister Nessie, because I never say hi to Nessie in public forums. So Nessie, this is your opportunity. Hello, love you very much. And Peter, I have a brother. Now let's get back to it. But Andrew, at your first audition, is this correct? Something happened to you at your audition, right? With George Kent, what happened?
Yeah, my very first memory of George Kent was that I was there to audition. It was at Christchurch, where the choir room is, and he had taken someone else in before me. He was going to audition, and he went to shut the red door, and my fingers were in that door jamb. And it wasn't just one of those moments where he was like, "I'm going to shut it." Oh no, what was that? It was one of those, "I'm going to shut it." What is that? I'm just going to, it was like full on. So my first memory of him is like me screaming and crying, and he was bringing me over to the lounge, like get ice out of the freezer to put on my hand, and I was like, I just don't know why I came to do it. I just was gonna fight for you.
So Ryan, I think we should have done that trick because Andrew sung the first concert that fall and you and I didn't.
He got the sympathy vote.
Yeah, we should have done the old
That's definitely what it was all about. I totally understand.
Had nothing to do with the ability to produce sound. Not
We're over that now, that we don't hold that against you.
No, but that was the Dvorak style mater. You like that? So that was a big time piece. Well,
I got to tell you though, so my only memory of that concert, and no, that's not true. My first memory was that I was super excited that he said I could sing it. My only other memory is like standing there during it, bawling, which could have been for so many reasons, but I was certainly too young to be doing what I did. It was quite an experience.
It's interesting because it's a good segue, and then maybe for all four of you really to put it out there, sort of getting to a little bit of talking about your chorus past, and that's one of the first early memories that you have. But maybe Aimée, we'll start with you. I mean, now your parents were in the chorus, your grandparents were in the chorus, so you were born into it.
Yeah.
But what's one of your earliest memories of actually being a member of the chorus?
Like officially being in the chorus?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, if you have to talk about something before that too, but officially like being in it.
Well, I do remember like my dad like kind of sitting me down and explaining that I had to call him Mr. Kent now, like all the other kids, and then I shouldn't call him Bunky anymore. And I was like, whoa, okay. And I remember being very concerned about being on time all the time, like definitely wanted to be on time, which has pretty much continued to this day. I don't know. I think I do remember when the transition from rehearsing in the Christchurch choir room to the risers, because I sang my first concert. And I just remember feeling like what Mr. Kent was doing had like nothing to do with what we'd been doing for months. Like, what is he doing? Like, so I just kept like turning around in a way that I thought was really suave and that no one would notice, like, because I was trying to read the lips of the people back of me, like, okay, now I know where we are. La la la. Okay. So yeah, lip reading.
Lip reading. How about you, Michael? What about you? And did you do some lip reading?
I still can't read lips, but no. I think my first concert, big memory, was it was the spring concert of '87 that we did the Dream of Granius with Sir David Wilcox conducting us, which I knew was a big deal because he was a sir, but also because Mr. Kent was on the risers for that concert. So here's my first spring concert, right? And Mr. Kent's up in the corner, following along. And I thought that was a really big deal. I don't think I understood the gravity of it at the time, but that was pretty special.
Did the gravity wear off when Andrew came into the risers to sing when David Hill was there? I mean, like...
No, that was just a couple kids up there, me and him. But no, we're very professional.
But when Andrew, that's just a total segue over that. Andrew Howell. So David Hill came and conducted Verdi Requiem with us 4 years ago, you guys. And did it feel weird for you going back into the risers and being anywhere near Mike again up on the risers?
Careful.
Oh, it was terrible. No, it was a lot of fun actually to get back to be in there again. It did remind me of how kind of claustrophobic it had been a while since I'd done that, and to be kind of forced into this position on the risers, which is not really conducive to singing, is definitely something that I was remade aware of again. But it was a blast to sing.
So let me stick with that. We're talking about condensed in there. So we're talking about early chorus memories, but let's talk about 12th night a little bit, because we all had something to do with 12th night throughout our lives. But early on in 12th night, and Aimee, you can go back further here if you want. What are some so 12th night? Our big show that we did for so long held a special spot in our hearts. But one of my early memories of 12th night is not getting in 12th night for many years because I couldn't skip. They
didn't tell me why I couldn't get in for many years. They said, no, thank you.
But I feel like that's an excuse to get me not in the show. So
I slammed my fingers in a door.
I gotta use that.
For a whole year, I tried to skip. I tried to learn how to skip. I still can't skip properly. And I thought, I'm never going to get on the stage in this hall without learning to skip. But what about early on, some other like working, in your kid years, 12th night, things like that? What other memories might you have? How about you, Angela Lidestri?
It was so funny that you say that, because I had forgotten that piece of it. Was like 4 or 5 years that I auditioned before they let me do that piece. And I remember when I think it was Ronnie Willits would show up to a choir rehearsal with scripts in hand for some kids and be like, and you, and you, and you. And I'd be like, oh, okay. And so
they hand to a tree. That's what they always hand me. Hold this and stand still.
But that very first 12th night, I very much credit 12th night in a lot of ways with giving me my love of theater and the magic and making of all those things in the way that I have. And I'm amazed how much of that first 12th night show I remember. I feel like I could almost tell the story of it, just almost, because I don't know that I understood it then or would now. But there was an ice demon on stilts and a giant stag and a dance. Like I remember it walking up the aisle. And I just remember standing there in awe and probably not singing at all. But there is that piece now where in those first years where I wasn't getting past that, to be back there and to watch it in the way that it was, I think I have an appreciation of it that I don't know if I would have if I was carrying a banner those years. So that's great in that way. I loved it.
How about you, Andrew Howell? You have a good story. Your Morton Lauritsen story. Isn't there a good story about Morton Lauritsen? Come on.
Is there?
Yeah, okay, I'll tell your story for you. When you were first in 12th Night, and they sang the O Nata Lux or something like that, or the O Magnum Mysterium, right? By
I put my fingers in the door.
That is my story.
I mean, I kind of remember that. I wouldn't say it was a story. I remember there were glowing emeralds or something. I don't know, and it was impressive.
Okay. Well, didn't you tell the story to Morton Lauritsen himself? We ate a Cobb salad with the man. He went by Skip.
Whatever.
He just left out the Cobb salad. That would have
If you made it up on the fly, bravo.
I made it up to impress Morton Lauritsen, you know.
Then.
So Morton, I'm not a.
Now he's gonna know. You know he's tuning in.
Oh, I know this is Oh, not others. All right. How about someone who can actually tell a story? Amy, what about you?
Like, what about me?
History teacher of the year. Come on.
I do have to say, I've never shared a screen like this with a teacher of the year. I'm just, I don't know. Wow.
You are all blessed to be in my presence. From childhood, I do remember that there was a kind of a menagerie of masks that people would wear every year, no matter what the story was. There would always be like a cow, and there would be a goat, and there was a skunk costume, and I really wanted to be the sheep. I wanted to wear the sheep head like so badly, and I never got cast as the sheep. And then I remember like being older, like maybe my first year on stage management, and like actually like looking at that mask and be like, yeah, I actually like it was good that I didn't get what I wanted. Like,
they were all like sharp inside, and by then falling apart. And the other, when you mentioned the masks, does anybody remember the years where we were doing the auctions? And Lynn would have some crazy idea about how the place was going to be decorated. And all of a sudden we were like bringing out 12th Night costumes and masks for Mardi Gras or whatever it was. And back then, where, much later on, God knows what we would take from where to use for all different sorts of crazy events. But back then there felt like this like thing where we were cheating in the middle of the year to like open the door into 12th Night stuff, to take any of those things and to look at them. And they were in a weird place for them to be, and, like exciting and super strange at the same time.
Yeah.
Good hits, and a lot of and Andrew, Jillian Barber made a lot of those masks, but Andrew, you were huge with Sally and Steph Traversa and lots of people, but you really a genius behind so many costumes for our show, especially in the last decade or so. We run it there. There was one year where you were in the show. I can't remember the name of the character, but you had a big bug head. I think it was a bug. Is that right? Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
What was
it? Was, I mean, it was buggish. He was a demon of some kind.
I'm sorry to you and to Harvey. I want you to know, I can't call it up right now, but the picture of you in that costume is your caller ID in my phone.
I'm glad that it is. I know exactly the picture you mean.
Yeah, and I love it every time because it makes, or if I get a text message from you, I see this giant head appears, and it makes my heart so happy. And I think that's one of the great things about the chorus is that there's some of these warm memories that come over time. So just moving a little bit ahead here. So we've gotten a chance to do this as kids and adults, but going back to our teenagers. Now we got to do all these shows and go to camp and goof around that hall. Tell me, Michael, one of your favorite memories as a teenager. Good, bad, medium, in between, or something you don't even remember.
Yeah, I don't really have any memories of the chorus. No, I'm not sure why I'm on the show.
Tell us all the ones you don't remember. That's what he wants.
Yeah. Someone wrote that down for me. No, I was going to talk about the tour to England and Wales. So that was, I think we left the day after my 18th birthday, which was coincidentally the drinking age in the UK. No, that was a great trip for many reasons. But the music and singing and the places we did, and with you passing out leaflets and getting lost in Welsh cities, pretending that we knew how to golf. Just so many memories and so many amazing places that we were privileged to perform. That was, for me as a teenager, that was out of this world. Something I never would have predicted as a 9-year-old joining the chorus that I would have the opportunity to do.
How about you, Amy?
Well, I mean, in terms of the tours, or
whatever, just in general.
I mean, I think I would agree with Michael in terms of the opportunities to sing overseas in some really amazing venues and just be like blown away. Getting to meet people who come on the tours, our soloists, our players. It's just so incredible. The memories from that. Well, can I tell a little story?
That's the whole point.
That's the point. So, in Italy, I was 9 years old when we went to Italy, and every dinner was like a new and exciting adventure. You never really knew what was going to happen, or how much food there was going to be, or where it was going to come from. And so we had this big dinner in Florence, and it turned out to be a fancy dinner. It was very exciting. But yeah, and so Reed Lewis, who's a little bit older than we are, kind of like was like, he didn't have a place to sit. So my dad was like, come sit down, Reed, come sit down. And so Reed remembers this vividly, that I asked my dad if I could have a sip of his wine. And in my family, we did that. And so he said, sure. And so I took a sip. Apparently I took a sip and went, good red wine. Because I thought I was a wine connoisseur.
Well, maybe that you got to start somewhere, right?
Right. And I did.
Wow. That was 33 years ago. So that's
it was. Ooh. You didn't have to say it like that.
That's quite a thing.
Yeah, they'll edit that all out.
Decades and decades.
Decades. How about you, Andrew Lidestri?
For me, they're Ogon's memories. Having spent 30 years one way or another there, between going to camp and then working at camp and working on camp. The part that, those first couple of years as teenagers, when we maybe didn't follow all the rules and we waited and we really calculated the time for when we thought that George and Charlie would be sleeping for the night on those last nights of camp, or we could, we might or might not have crept out of our living spaces and explore the camp, and to feel that it's just we felt like adults in a different way, and we're making our own experiences and having our own things, and not that I recommend anybody do anything like that. However,
no, don't be. Please tune out right now, Abigail. just shut it off right now and go to a different channel.
Yeah,
no, I think that's great. I think that's a great. There is a lot of. I think all these things. There's a lot of great memories. There is one night I remember in particular where we were having an adventure with Michael and our future music director. I found him crawling up a hill. In the middle of the night. So
I sprained my ankle that night.
Those stairs were a death trap.
What could have? If we didn't rescue Andrew Howell that night, we might not be having this very pleasant conversation today.
I think
the funny thing is there was rescuing, and I can't for the life of me remember why there was rescuing. It was very specific.
No one can remember.
And then the next day at camp, prohibition came back, and so I can remember a few details, but we were actually. I feel like we were great. We were great heroes conquering the night. That the Klingons will now write operas and sing songs about us. That it was so. Without us, the adult staff never would have made it to the next day. They all made it to the next day, but let's tell you, they had a hard time getting to the next day. So. Just wonderful, wonderful memories. Let's talk about some of the people that we've encountered along the way here, because I know that there's been lots of amazing and wonderful people. Now, we all know, of course, George and Lynn have done so much, and we talk about them so much. But there's been a lot of people behind the scenes, the Pams, the Stevies, the Ann Utters, the Charlie and Janets, the Debbies, all sorts of people like that, and all of you, of course, too. Who are some of the people that have had a profound impact on you all, and can you talk a little bit about them? How about we start with you, Andrew Lidestri?
I'm going to talk about somebody you already mentioned. I feel like our group of people is very lucky in the way that the people who we were able to spend our time with and work closely with were often those folks that were so key to building the chorus into what it is and to making 12th Night happen in the way that it did. And, so for me, it's, Anna, other than Lynn and Monkey, it's Ann and Nora, really, that with Ann Utter and the magic of the things that she did, and getting to chat with her about her scripts and the way that she came up with things. And she would send me passages and poetry of things that she was looking at for a 12th night for the year. And because I was that person who would bug her in June, and she would say, please, I have not even started yet. And I can't have another person asking me. Yeah. Then she would start to slip me little poems and things. And I really enjoyed, as I became an adult, sort of getting involved in those conversations with her and how she came up with her stories, because she very much wrote me in as such a little kid and gave me the love of it. And then with Nora, I spent so many years working with her so closely at Ogant's, you know, and to see a woman who is so driven and wanted to accomplish so many things and did accomplish so many things, who also like wanted nothing more to do than to make 45 loaves of bread in a day, and just like enjoy that simple part of life at the camp. You know, it was really great to spend the time with them. And I think I got a lot of my values and a lot of my inspiration for things from those two ladies in particular.
And Nora is just, I mean, Nora, who recently passed a couple of years ago now, but just a wonderful, loving soul. And she really much like Marion Palm now, very much, I think, looked at all the Chorus of Westerly kids and people as her kids, her family. One of my favorite stories is toward the end of Nora's driving tenure, is she was at the hall and she was telling me that she'd driven to camp and decided that was the last time she was ever going to do it. I said, why? She goes, well, I got in that tunnel thing in Boston. Like, you drove through the tunnel? Because her eyesight was bad. You drove through the tunnel? I did. I'm like, how did you get through? I went very slow in the middle and I aimed toward the light. But then I thought I shouldn't drive towards the light because that would be it.
Oh, there was luck. There was always so much luck that got her from point A to point B and kept her from a much earlier demise. I will never, for this very specific moment that I remember with that, when her eyes, because her eyes, she had macular degeneration, and so her eyes really were failing more and more at the end. And she didn't want to let go of that bread baking job. And we had the mixer, and above the mixer were these shelves of bowls, china bowls, and Pyrex bowls. And something had happened. They were doing some work in the kitchen on the other side. This was like the very beginning of the season. She like showed up, and the very first thing she would always want to do is make the bread. And so we turned the oven on for her, and she started doing her thing and finding the flour and getting it in the mixer. They had done some work, I think, the previous week on the other side of the wall in the kitchen, and someone must have hammered something, and one of those Pyrex bowls fell off and shattered into the mixing bowl. And Nora went about her life with no knowledge. And flour goes in, water goes in, salt goes in, and the yeast and the water, you know, those are the only ingredients. 4 ingredients, she's got them in, she's got the thing going, lets it rise in the bowl, somehow did not cut and scrape herself like crazy in the taking out of this dough and putting it in the thing. 2 hours later, it's after the first rise, I come into the bakery and she's got these grinder rolls in front of her on a tray and she's squeezing them with the weirdest look on her face. And there's this little pile of white bits next to her. And she loved to call things bits. The bits, I got the bits. And I said, Nora, what are you doing, honey? And she said, oh, there's these bits I don't get, these rolls that just, and she was picking these things out. And I grabbed a roll and knew right away that we were dealing with glass. And that it was. And she wanted, and even after that, she was so frustrated with herself for not seeing it, and then so frustrated because she was already doing this work and she couldn't use it. But she really argued with me for almost 5 minutes. This is my pathologist friend, Nora, who argued with me that she could probably get all the bits out and then we could still use that bread for lunch. You know, so there was a judgment call thing here and there in the end. I was just happy to be there to help.
Listen, amazing lady who raised lots of money for the chorus and gave lots of money to the chorus, but gave her heart and soul to everything. I mean, I think we all loved her very much. We don't have that building without Nora Spence. We don't go on tours without Nora Spence. She just was such a great soul. And she could take a joke, which was great too. And she, like, we could be doing impressions of her on the lake. She'd be listening and she'd call us out. And the minute we walk back up, like, or she'd be in skits with us. Like we would often parody her in a skit. And Nora would critique our performance of her. Poor Joel Larico got like the, but what a wonderful soul. And Ann too. And I just think of some of those. Michael, anybody for you along those lines?
No, nobody. No. So yeah, no, the folks you mentioned and Andrew did as well. But yeah, I'll stick with Camp, which is I think where my relationship with him was really closest would be Grandpa Kent. So George Kent's father. You know, he lived to 100, I believe, and just such a sweet person. I really enjoyed, you know, skipping out of a job or sneaking over and seeing him in the wood shop at camp and just catching up and
having the honey brown.
What's that?
The honey brown?
Possibly, yeah. No, and you know, absorbing some wisdom or some new joke, and just such a great soul. And then I'll go to 12th night as a kid was. And I didn't learn for years. So his sister was the property mistress at 12th night, right?
Aunt Hazel.
Aunt Hazel. And floored me. I never knew they were related, but she was, obviously a very similar sweet soul to him. And as a 9-year-old straight up through, because I was in 12th night the first year. I don't like to brag, right? But sorry, edit that out. No, but she's just someone who really stuck with me, and I really enjoyed seeing some of these folks once a year. I'd go with those two among so many other people.
And how about you, Aimée?
I want to give a shout out to Mr. Friend. Who for many, many years was the absolute heart and soul of the waterfront program at camp. And it's funny because one thing that these folks had in common is that they taught you by example that you could be a very serious person and have a serious job and work really hard, but you could also be funny and silly and put on a costume and and be a part of a joke and take a joke. And I think that helped me to become a more better rounded human being.
Yeah, I think so too. And Andrew, how old are you? Anyone you'd like to add in there?
So I started when I was almost a teenager. I was later. I wasn't a little kid. But I'm actually going to be sappy for a second and say all of you, the four of you, were just enough older than I was to be the people that I so much looked up to and wanted to be like and emulate and to try and be as kind and wonderful and generous people. And so I learned quite a bit from you. So thank you all for that, for just being that little bit older. But as we do with all of the kids in the chorus, when we take them up to camp, that is the point of it, is that the older kids look out for the younger ones and they look up to each other. Well, you definitely did that for me. So thank the four of you for that.
Oh, thank you. Well, that's
sorry about your ankle.
That was Michael. Michael takes responsibility.
Yeah, we did the tour show on the Wednesday night a couple nights ago, and we had Betsy on there, and I think of Katie and Betsy and Pam and Jana, all these people. And in fact, when we did the documentary talk show, Katie Utter Schaefer said you should do a whole show on just the women who've been behind the scenes at the chorus, and there are so many, and women, men, kids, teenagers. There are just so many people out there that have had such a profound impact on us. And I'd like to think that we all took a little bit from each of them. And I think what we're trying to all do now is bring that love of not just the chorus, but the arts and the importance of it, and show it to that next generation so they can move on. So really, and that's the whole point that we kind of want to do with the show. And so everyone out there, this crew that's on here with me are going to serve throughout the season as co-hosts for all of this. So they'll be on when they can or when they want to be. And to help, we're going to bring a lot of you on here because we want to hear your stories too. So this is sort of our pilot episode. So to start with these four individuals here have just been spectacular friends, lifelong friends for me, of course, but also for all of us in the chorus of Westerly. So with that, Ben, it's time for them to flip the tables and turn it on us. It's time for Prime Minister's question time. Let's do it. All right, here we go. Prime Minister's question time. So in the United Kingdom, every once a week, right? I think once a week, the Prime Minister has to go to Parliament and people quiz the Prime Minister, and Prime Minister has this giant binder of stuff. So in this case, our three guests this week and future co-hosts Andrew, Mike, and Aimée will get to quiz Andrew, Howell, and I, and we can only respond with answers. What? Why are you raising your hand?
I forgot my binder.
Okay, that's okay. We can only respond with answers up to 4 words, so we got to be to the point and brief. So we'll start it with Michael.
So am I asking you any question I want?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
4 words or less.
No. We give you. Okay, we'll come back.
Let's
start with Andrew Lidestri.
Okay. I wrote my questions down. I'm prepared, Michael. I only took a little note in the corner. Except they're going to be super difficult to answer in 4 words. So good luck to you. Andrew Howell, is there a choral work, and if so, what is it, that you've sort of pushed to the back of the list of things to do because there's something about it that makes you nervous, afraid, reserved to do it?
Yes. Barber Agnus Dei.
Excellent. Bravo. Okay, next question, Andrew.
Okay, so I don't know if you want to take 2 separate 4 words because it's a 2-part question. You decide as the host of the show. All right. in the time that you've been the executive director for the chorus, what would you consider your greatest accomplishment and your biggest regret? Told them they were going to be probing questions.
Yep. The Community Music Works partnership, I think, was okay. That's it. My biggest. And what was that next part?
Your greatest accomplishment and your biggest regret.
Sorry, 4 words.
Having Lidestri on show.
And scene.
Poor. Well, I need 5 words.
Just use 5.
Poor
We'll
communication.
give you a word. It's okay.
About 12th night.
Cool.
Okay, that's good. You got any more?
No, I was.
Okay,
Let's
Amy,
not
you
move
ready?
into
Go
questions.
for it.
All right, yeah, I'm ready.
I'm sweating now. I'm sweating under my brow.
Well, I have the
Okay.
same question for both of you because I thought I had to be the same question for
That's
both.
okay. This is a pilot.
Okay, yes, that's true. What word or phrase do you say the most in your role as artistic director or executive director?
Basses, please watch me.
Oh, the truth. Oh, it's just like
So sad and so true.
It's in your email.
Yes.
Yes, I love it.
So much respect for both of those phrases.
In your email. All right, Michael, you got anything?
Yeah. So if budget wasn't an issue, in 4 words. So for Andrew, I guess, which piece would you want to perform? Which venue in the world?
Ooh. Wow. I have no idea. I've already said too many words. Any place in world. I don't know. There's so many pieces that I want to do.
How about Ryan?
Any piece.
Where do you want to plan a tour where budget's not an issue?
A tour?
Yeah, get into any hall. Pick a piece because Andrew can't. Just kidding.
Great Wall of China.
Yeah,
Wow.
support that.
There you go.
I would go anywhere.
There you go. Well, there you go. Any more questions? Well, we'll work on that one. But that has been Prime Minister's Question Time. Woo! Okay, now we got something else really exciting for you here. We're going to do, because I have to do something really fast here while we're talking. You make my mice work, but we're going to play something called Musical Pyramid. And what we're going to do is, in the span of a minute, have you ever watched the $25,000 pyramid where they get, or Taboo, the game Taboo, where they say words and you have to do? Well, we mashed it all together, and I'm going to text each one of you a list of words. Ben's then you're going to say it to your partner. Your partner's going to have to guess. I will yell ding if you get it right, because we forgot to get a bell. We'll see how many that you get. And we'll email that to you, and then we'll see who the champions are. The first round is going to actually be Aimée Blanchette asking Andrew Lidestri these words. So Amy, watch your text message thing in a second here. You're going to get 25. If you get all 25, congratulations. If you don't, we'll just see how many.
In a minute?
25 questions. All right, Amy, they're coming in right now.
I'm hanging a boxwood wreath. I can't help you.
Aimee, do you have the list?
I have the list.
Okay, here are the rules. You may not say or spell the words. You may not use the word in any sort of compound word. You can't use an abbreviation for the word. Okay? We're gonna see how many you get, how many Andrew Lidestri you can get. You may act it out, you may sing, you may do anything. So for you all to know, they are musical terms, chorus of Westerly terms, chorus of Westerly people, musical people, or things involved with 12 point. Okay?
Can we interfere? Howell
No,
and I?
you gotta watch because it's on your own. All right, Aimee, you tell me when you're ready, and Ben will start the clock.
Okay, I'm ready.
Start the clock, Ben. Go.
All right, this is at the beginning of the music. You can have a G one, you can have a bass one.
It's the clef.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Bach's Christmas.
Oratorio.
Ding. Next.
This is when you go to a bar and you sing and it's bad and there's words on a screen. And
Karaoke.
Yes.
This guy wrote the 1812 Overture.
Tchaikovsky.
Yes.
This is the quietest musical marking like that you can be, the quietest.
Inissimo.
Yes.
Okay. This is what soloists do, and we typically weren't allowed to do it. It's when you make a note like wiggle, like
Vibrato.
Another kind of thing, another word for that.
Vibrato.
Okay. Pass. This is an instrument. They sit opposite the violins and people make jokes about them.
Violas.
Yes.
Okay. This was the best 12th night processional ever. Like the best one.
Chanticleer.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Pass. This is a musical instrument. It has.
You're out of time.
Okay.
All right.
How do we do?
You got
25.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I feel like that's good.
Wow.
Wow.
I feel like
Wow.
that's good.
All right. Hang on. We'll keep the rest on there, Aimee, in case we have to go to a tie break.
Oh,
All right, next
okay.
up will be Mike Freitas asking Andrew Howell. Are you ready, Mike Freitas?
We're going, Mike. Do this.
I don't have any questions.
They're coming.
Oh, this is big.
Like
That's
Harry.
Hopefully they're coming through your text. Did they come through?
No, sir.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Just ask
Send
me
the carrier pigeon.
Oh.
Actually, we could cheat and hang on. You got email?
There's a G1 and a C1.
I have no idea.
The beauties of live television that isn't live. Can you check your email from there?
Yeah, I'm checking that too, man. I'm refreshing like mad.
Keep refreshing. Refresh as if you just got out of the shower and you put on some new deodorant. Okay, you should have it about now. All right. You tell me when you're ready. Ooh, this is exciting.
This is just going to be the last 10 minutes of the show. Isn't it?
That's pretty much it.
I got nothing.
Hey, there's a button.
Okay, you got it?
I do not have anything in my email or
What's going on in the bunker? All right. Why don't we go? We can go the other way around. Andrew Howell can ask you questions. How about that?
All right.
We probably need to
We'll
go
go the
that
other
way.
way around. We'll go the other way around. Andrew Howell will ask you questions. Your list is kind of
Great Wall of China.
What? No,
Great
it's
Wall
not
of
Great
China.
Wall of China. Everything will come together in post-production.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, Andrew Howell, you should have your list now. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. When you're ready, Ben will start the clock. Ben, you ready, Andrew? Go.
The 1812.
Overture.
You love to play it. Swing a mallet at it.
Yes.
Symbol. Gong.
No.
Yeah.
Gong. You drink gin with it.
Tonic.
Yes.
That's my.
Falsetto.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your favorite piece from Christmas Pops.
Donkey Carol.
Yeah. Wrote a very famous Fifth Symphony and Ninth Symphony.
Beethoven.
Yes.
Yeah. Hold me. I'm a musical term.
Look at these.
Looks like an eye. Hold on to it.
Fermata.
Yes.
Yeah. Composer who grew up in the chorus of Westerly, not John Tafone.
Someone else.
Advent Carol, guy from Christchurch. Very talented. All right, pass.
George Kent.
Let's see.
Peter Needman.
Yes. Yes.
Ron Cowie.
Okay, you're done. I almost made Ron Cowie the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You had 8. Yeah. Who's the fourth one? All right.
I got your email, Ryan, in a text for me. I'm just kidding. I still don't have it.
All right, I'm going to send Angela Destri's his. If not, I'll send Angela.
Oh, we're going the other way.
Okay, Angela Destri's getting his. It's going to ask Amy's.
Am I going to have to do Mike again?
I'm going to check on the computer here.
All right, here comes yours, Angela Destri.
Ooh, there it is.
All right.
There it is.
Next week, we need some background music while we do this. Okay. You ready? Tell me when you're ready, Andrew.
I am ready.
Okay, let's start the clock, man. Go.
Okay, so a measure of music is also called a
Bar.
Yep.
Yes. Bach wrote a whole bunch of these, and we sang 50 and 195 and 146.
Yep.
Yes. The sopranos are almost always given the
Descant.
no, the
Melody.
super simple part.
Yep.
That's the one.
Melody.
And wrote Dixit Dominus.
Handle.
Yes.
Yes. Which dynamic is marked by? Oh, I can't use the letter.
Okay.
Yes.
It means yeah.
Said it.
Okay. When you take your voice and you make it oscillate between two notes, that's using your. That's what I said earlier. Thank you. So when you slide from one note all the way up to another note, you
Yes.
his feast.
Yes.
Yes. We're gonna dance. How was I gonna get? It was on my polka. We were dancing the polka. That was next. I don't know why polka's on this list.
All right, 50. I thought we'd go through more of them, but that's okay.
In a minute, next time we're gonna ask him questions. He's not gonna get anywhere near 25 in a minute.
Please note that each one of your lists is specially tailored to each of you.
Oh yeah.
Ryan, I have my list in my laptop.
Did you not get it at all?
No, I have it in the laptop.
Okay. All right. So Andrew Howell, are you ready? So listen, you have you guys have 8. So if you get and they have 15 total. So if you get 8, you win. But we'll see how far you go. All right, Mike Freitas, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Here we go. Go.
Wrote the B minor mass.
Bach.
Yep.
Mass for the Dead.
A Requiem.
Yes.
Taco Bells.
Canon.
Yes.
Beatboxing.
Yes. The melody and the
Accompaniment. Harmony.
or the
Yes.
did someone say it?
Harmony.
Yeah.
Not mihi waha me, but pass.
Look.
Gonna pass the next one. This is the twinkly bells in the organ.
The cymbal turn.
Yes.
Yeah, not a diminuendo, but a.
Crescendo.
Yes.
This guy was a priest. Handel wrote
Vivaldi.
about him.
Vivaldi.
No, somebody the priest. Nathan the prophet.
Zadok.
Yes.
Yeah. Without instruments, just the voice.
Unaccompanied or a cappella.
Yes.
Pass. These are guys who are out working the farms, the pastures. Christmas song.
But what is it?
Oh, men from the field.
Oh, man from the field.
I think we got like 37 though.
7, 8, 9.
I
You
just-
got 9.
Oh, good job.
Thanks for playing Musical Pyramid. Hey! Wow.
Next time we
Okay.
all ask you the questions, Ryan.
Huh?
Next
Next
time we
week?
all ask you.
All right.
We'll
So
need a list twice as long, at least 30 or 40.
you have your list there. Which ones on the list is here? I gave you some other good ones on there. Try to. So Andrew Lidestri, you have on your list there. I particularly like to see if could you get number 21 to Amy.
Bring us in.
Good deal.
There you go. That's for you. Andrew Howell, can you do number 25 for Michael?
Pappy.
Van Winkle, bourbon.
well, what? Dan Van Winkle. All right. And Amy, can you do 20 for Andrew Lidestri?
Oh, everything she has to say to you, Andrew, is of vital importance.
All right, that's a lot of the ladies in the chorus. Let's be realistic.
It's the one who's a twin.
The one who's what?
Who's a twin.
Oh, Pam.
Yeah.
You didn't
All
say
right.
that she also wrote me a letter about it with all the detailed points bulleted out really
And
nice. So
Michael, you
that's
get number 20.
Well, incidentally, speaking of Pam, happy birthday, Pam. I understand this is your
Happy birthday. This whole show is
Right.
for every Pam's birthday we celebrate.
That's right.
When icicles hang,
Rudder?
it's another part of that, though.
Come on, I freaking dare you.
I know. He won't get that. It's a blow, blow, thou winter wind.
Ah,
Not blow thou wind southerly, but
Not blow that wind southerly. All right, well, that's been the musical pyramid, and we do thank you for playing on our musical pyramid. A little trivia here. We'll work on all these things and trim them up a little, but it's been great fun. But we're running to the end of our hour here, so we have some great shows planned for you. Coming up on one of our next shows is actually going to be Silk Purse Catering, featuring Pamela Young and Deborah Dunham. So we'll see what questions and things we have in store for them. We're also going to kind of reach out to you to see if you want to send us some chorus news, which we might share with you here. Andrew Lidestri might ask you questions. Aimée Blanchette might quiz you on trivia. You never know what might come out of our crazy mind. But for all of us here at the Chorus of Westerly, we thank you very much. We hope you are healthy and safe. Have a wonderful mid-October. Happy anniversary to Mike Freitas and Lucy Freitas. And before we close, congratulations from the entire Chorus of Westerly family to our other alum, Andrew Burnap, on his recent Tony Award nomination for Best Actor, Lead Actor, for his role in The Inheritance. And before we close, Ben, can you call up the picture that I sent to you earlier today? Just so there we go, right there. Remember, you can always serve elegant eggs with your best friend. So, on behalf of Aimée Blanchette, Andrew Lidestri, Mike Freitas, and Andrew Howell, thank you, good night, and we'll see you next week.